Hello, my name is Curtis Wyatt, and I'm the writer and director of Orders. Orders was a concept and an idea that I had because I was thinking to myself, what in the world I would do if I end up losing my brother. So my brother was actually getting married, and he was going to move away from me. And it was one of those realizations that I'm like, oh, my brother's become a man, and he's going to have to start his own path. And I'm like, it's crazy. I'm going to be away from my brother. And then ideas started to come to me of like, okay, well, being away from my brother, how do I feel about that? And Orders actually came from a sense of, okay, if you lose your family member, what would you be willing to do to get them back? So after thinking about that for a little bit, I ended up writing the script. And before I knew it, I went down a deep, deep rabbit hole of suspense. So yeah, it came from just stemming of what I would do for a family member to get them back. Well, the writing process was extremely interesting. So when I went into it, and my original thoughts were, I'm going to write it as big as possible. We're going to have car chases. We're going to have a house blow up. We're going to have a gunfight in the middle of the street. And then I had an opportunity to actually make it. And then I saw how much that cost, and I cut all that out. Because realistically speaking, okay, how do you tell a good story without all those elements? Can you still capture an audience without delivering all that other stuff? And I believe that I could, and there's not gonna be anybody else funding it. How do you make the best story that you can and still deliver what you want? So ultimately what I did, I went back and I retooled. I ended up sitting down with Lonnie. He told me, hey, I have access to this, this, and this. Can you write within these confines? And I was like, heck yeah. So I went in and I rewrote it. Orders was originally supposed to be a feature that now I've kind of turned into a mini series that looks like there's going to be more stories to tell within this world. So I ended up retooling it, end up making it more character focused, and I believe it gives a great story for people to want to watch. My favorite scenes, hands down, would have to be. So I have a couple favorite scenes. Ashanti, which is our Rachel with Thomas, was one of my favorite scenes. At the very end of the series, we have a scene with her and Derek. That's a very dramatic scene that I end up playing very well. And it's just funny to actually see actors bring it to life, because you'll read it, you'll think about it inside your head, and then you'll direct them, and then you're like, oh, they're doing it. This is it. Ain't God good? And they come together and make it come to life. Actually, one of the most difficult scenes was me acting in anything, because I'm not behind the camera. I can't see exactly what I want. So you have to trust in the person who's advising you. And on those particular scenes, I had the executive producer, Lonnie, step in, and you just have to trust what he's seeing, what he's doing. What I would suggest anybody, if you're going to work on a project and you're going to act in it and you're trying to direct it, have somebody who's a first AD or someone that's going to tell you the truth. I looked over at Lonnie. How was that? Do it again. Okay, so that wasn't it. And we'll go and get it again. But having people that you trust, but just seeing it come to life in general for me, every single scene, was just awesome. Honestly, no. And what you have to do as an independent filmmaker is realize every resource that we had available for the budget that we had, we used. We didn't try to overspend. We didn't try to underspend. If there was something that I really needed, I know I could have went up to Lonnie and asked for. But at the same exact token, I don't think there was anything else that we really needed. Like I said, originally we had gunfights, car scenes, a whole entire thing. I had a whole scene inside a police station. But do I need those to still tell a compelling story? No. So like, for me, I don't think there was anything that I would have changed. Now, there's some elements that I'm going to add for season 2. We may need a little bit more, but it's not going to be anything crazy. But I'm looking forward to just continuing to create inside that world and showing people what you can do with what you have. It would definitely be writing, because when you're writing, everything's possible. And then when you're directing, not everything is possible. Yes, story is king. And I think sometimes we'll focus more on the camera, we'll focus more on the lenses, We're focused more on the light setup and, well, am I doing the orange teal look? Am I getting exactly what I want? And at the end of the day, story is king. If you have a good camera, it doesn't have to be a great camera, and you have something to capture audio with, and you're telling a compelling story, people will sit down and watch it. There have been movies that are not the greatest in quality that I've sit down and watched for an hour and 30 minutes because characters compelled me. So what I would tell to any beginning filmmaker, don't worry about the camera setup. Don't worry about the gear. I can tell you from all the stuff that we had on set, honestly, if you could rent it, it'd probably be maybe $1,000, if that, for a whole entire week. And you can go out and make a project today. All you need is a great story with a couple friends and just make it. So anything I would tell to a director is to make, because you're not directing anything if you don't have anything to show for it. So go out there and just make it. First things first, my boy Lonnie knows everybody. So let's just go ahead and address that off the bat. So one of the things that Lonnie did for a particular scene that we were shooting on one of the days, we were inside a separate location. We couldn't bring all the gear from the house, or we didn't know what gear we needed from the house. So him being him, has a good relationship with literally the place that I would say 2 doors down, Broadcast Hub, which is a fantastic place. If you need any cinema gear inside Atlanta that you actually need to go to a place and buy it, I would suggest that you go to Broadcast Hub at Lenox. Cool people, fantastic. Prices are a little bit cheaper than online, so definitely talk to the guy, but great place. But he went over there, he got us some lights. I have a good friend, his name is Avery Henley, fantastic YouTuber, fantastic director. He was like, hey bro, if you're shooting a series, just let me know and tell me what you need. And I was like, well, I want to use the Pixis. He said, say less. And then next week he had me the Pixis with the particular lenses that I wanted to try out and use for the series. So it was literally just a thing of asking people. You don't realize how big your circle is until you start asking questions. So I got those, I got a camera, I got a lenses, different equipment that we already had that we work with, whether it be skits or whether it be other series. And we came into it and just built. I mean, it wasn't a whole lot of money spent because it was just a lot of people being like, hey, if you're not using that light that day, you mind if I borrow it for that day? And that's exactly what happened. So a lot of people just came together to make this where we didn't have to spend a lot of money. But if you just ask, and honestly, if you go out and help people, so a lot of it was me helping them out so that one day I could use that favor, and I cashed it in on this, and I can definitely say it was worth it. Like, subscribe, help your boy get monetized. But more importantly, just create. And like, I know it may sound crazy to say, but it may be one of the most addicting things that you can do as a creator, because I don't know why you would hamstring yourself. I don't know why you're not creating. We didn't spend over really no money to make this series. And I'm so proud of it because I know exactly what we went through, what confines that we had, and we still had something that I believe is engaging and thrilling for people to watch. So if I could give you guys anything, first-time directors, first-time writers, no one's gonna believe in your project until you start to put money up for yourself and start developing. So start putting some aside. Like I said, renting equipment is not expensive. You can rent all the equipment that we use for this particular series for just a weekend, for 3 days. You're looking at $300. That's it. So I would suggest anybody out there that wants to make something, that wants to be creative, that wants to do this, do it. I think we talk way too much and we're not doing. So please, go do it.